Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Core English Podcast. I am your host, Luna.
And I am Jasper. Welcome, friends.
Jasper, did you hear that ticking clock just now?
I did. It made me feel very stressed. It sounded like a bomb in an action movie.
That ticking clock is exactly what it feels like inside an English learner's head when someone asks them a question.
Oh, absolutely. Someone says, "Hey, what did you think of the meeting today?" And in your head, the clock starts. Tick. You translate the question. Tick. You search for the vocabulary. Tick. You try to arrange the grammar. Tick.
And meanwhile, the other person is just staring at you, waiting.
And the longer you wait, the heavier the silence gets, until finally you panic and you just say something terrible like, "Yes, meeting good, I like."
The classic panic response. We have all been there. Hesitation is the enemy of fluency. When you hesitate for too long, the conversation loses its natural rhythm. It becomes awkward.
It really does. You feel like you failed, even if you know the vocabulary perfectly in your textbook.
But what if I told you there is a mathematical rule to fix this, a psychological boundary that will stop the panic before it starts?
A mathematical rule for conversations? I'm listening.
Today, we are going to introduce you to the 3-second rule. It's the ultimate secret to sounding confident even when you have absolutely no idea what to say.
I need this rule in my life. Let's dive in. Okay, Luna, before we learn the rule, we need to understand the problem. Why do we hesitate so much?
It all comes down to the fear of silence. In human psychology, silence in a conversation is deeply uncomfortable.
That is true. If I'm talking to my best friend in my native language and I ask a question and they just stare at me silently for 5 seconds, I will think something is wrong. I will say, "Hello, are you okay?"
Exactly. Native speakers expect a response almost instantly. Not a full response, but a signal that you heard them.
A signal.
Yes, when an English learner is asked a question, they try to build the entire perfect grammatically correct sentence in their head before they open their mouths.
Which takes about 5 to 8 seconds.
Right, and during those 8 seconds, you're giving the native speaker absolute silence. That silence makes the native speaker uncomfortable. So what do?
They try to help.
Yes, they ask the question again, but slower, or they try to guess what you're going to say.
Oh, I hate that. I'm standing there, my brain is working so hard to build a beautiful sentence, and suddenly the person says, "Did you not understand?" I said, "What did you think?"
And that completely breaks your concentration. Your brain resets and you panic.
It is a disaster.
The problem is not your English. The problem is that you didn't give them a signal. You let the silence grow too big. And that's exactly where the 3-second rule saves you.
Okay, give me the rule. I'm ready to write it down.
The 3-second rule is very simple. You have exactly 3 seconds to make a sound after someone finishes speaking.
Make a sound? Any sound? Can I just bark like a dog?
Please do not bark at people. No, you must make a human conversational sound.
Okay, explain.
Most learners think that within 3 seconds, they must start giving their final, perfect, grammatically correct answer. But that's impossible. Even native speakers don't know their final answer in 3 seconds.
That is a huge relief to hear.
When you ask me a deep question, Jasper, my brain also needs time to think, but I don't give you silence. Within 3 seconds, I give you a bridge.
A bridge.
Yes, a bridge is a word or a phrase that tells the other person, "I heard you, I understood you, my brain is working, please hold on."
Ah, so the 3-second rule is not about answering quickly, it's about acknowledging quickly.
Exactly. You must kill the awkward silence before it reaches 3 seconds. Once you use a bridge phrase, you buy yourself another 5 seconds to actually build your English sentence.
This is a superpower. You're telling me I can legally pause the conversation to find my vocabulary?
Yes, but you have to push the pause button correctly.
I need an analogy, Luna. My brain loves pictures.
Imagine a conversation is a game of ping pong, table tennis.
Okay, I have my paddle, you have your paddle.
When I ask you a question, I hit the ping pong ball over the net to your side of the table.
Right, and my job is to hit it back.
Yes, but English learners treat conversation like a game of golf, not ping pong.
Golf? How?
When the ball lands on your side of the table, you stop. You look at the ball, you measure the wind, you check your posture, you select the perfect golf club, you take a practice swing.
And meanwhile, the ping pong ball has already bounced off the table and rolled under the sofa. The game is dead.
Exactly. In ping pong, you just have to touch the ball. It doesn't have to be a perfect, aggressive smash. You just have to gently tap it back over the net to keep the game alive.
So a bridge phrase is just a gentle tap to keep the ball on the table.
Yes. If I ask you, Jasper, what do you think of artificial intelligence? If you stand in silence for 8 seconds, the ball drops. But if within 3 seconds you say, wow, that's a massive topic.
I just hit the ball back.
Yes, you hit the ball back. Now I'm looking at you, smiling, waiting for your actual opinion. The tension is gone. The silence is broken.
This makes so much sense. I don't need to hit a perfect shot, I just need to touch the ball. Okay, Luna, we know the rule. Hit the ball within 3 seconds. But I need the paddles. I need the exact phrases. What do I say?
Let's open the toolbox. We're going to divide these into 3 categories. Category 1, the echo.
The echo, like shouting into a cave, hello, hello.
Sort of. The echo is the easiest trick in the world. You simply repeat the last important word or phrase the person said, but as a question or a thoughtful statement.
Give me an example.
Let's say your boss says, Jasper, we need to completely change the marketing strategy for the new software.
I panic.
Don't panic. Within 3 seconds, you echo. You say, the marketing strategy?
Oh, and then I nod my head. The marketing strategy.
Yes, you just bought yourself 4 seconds to think. Let's try another one. I say, Jasper, where do you want to go for dinner tonight?
Dinner tonight. Well,
Perfect. You touched the ping pong ball. It is so simple, but native speakers do this constantly.
category 2?
Category 2, the praise.
The praise. This means complimenting their question?
Complimenting their question. This works perfectly for difficult or complex questions. You literally just tell them that their question is good.
Ah, like, that's a really good question.
Yes, or that's an interesting point, or I'm glad you asked that.
Let me try. Luna asked me a hard question.
Jasper, how do you think social media is affecting modern relationships?
Wow, that's a really fascinating question, and now I have time to think about my English vocabulary.
It works like magic. You sounded incredibly thoughtful and fluent, even though you haven't actually answered the question yet.
What is category 3?
Category 3, the honest stall.
Stalling means delaying. How do I delay honestly?
You simply tell them that you are thinking.
Like a computer? Loading, please wait, downloading vocabulary.
No, a little more human than that. You can say, let me think about that for a second, or give me a moment to gather my thoughts, or my favorite short one, to be honest.
To be honest, I love that one. It sounds very authentic.
Let's review the toolbox. The echo, repeat the keywords. The praise, that's a great question. The honest stall, let me think about that for a second.
If our listeners just memorize those 3 tools, they will never have an awkward silence again.
Jasper, knowing the tools is only half the battle. We have to practice the reflex.
The reflex, like catching a ball when someone throws it at you.
Yes, the 3-second rule requires muscle memory. So we're going to do a drill right now. I call it the shadow drill.
I am ready. Put me in the hot seat.
Listeners, you can play along at home. I am going to ask Jasper a series of random, unexpected questions. Jasper, your goal is not to give me a brilliant answer. Your only goal is to use a bridge phrase from our toolbox within 3 seconds.
I just have to touch the ping pong ball.
Exactly. If you pause for more than 3 seconds, you lose. Ready?
Ready.
Question 1. Jasper, if you could travel anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would you go?
Anywhere in the world. Let me think about that.
Perfect. You used the echo and the honest stall. Question 2. Jasper, do you think traditional universities will still exist in 50 years?
Wow, that is a really good question. To be honest,
Excellent. You used the praise and the honest stall. Question 3. Jasper, what is the strangest food you have ever eaten in your life?
the strangest food. Give me a second to gather my thoughts on that one.
Boom. Perfect score. Listeners, did you hear how natural he sounded?
I felt very relaxed because the pressure of finding the perfect answer was gone. My only job was to say the bridge phrase. While I was saying, "Give me a second to gather my thoughts," my brain was secretly searching the warehouse for the word octopus.
Yes, the bridge phrase occupies your mouth so your brain can work in peace.
This is life-changing.
All right, Jasper, we know how to do it right, but let's talk about what happens when we do it wrong. Do you have a story about a time before you knew the 3-second rule?
Oh, I have a very painful story. It is a story about romance.
Ooh, a romantic disaster. My favorite kind.
I was on a first date with a very beautiful, very smart English speaker. We were at a nice Italian restaurant.
High stakes. The lizard brain is definitely awake.
Exactly. I was trying so hard to impress her. I wanted my English to be flawless. I didn't want to make a single grammar mistake.
The perfectionism trap.
I was eating my pasta and she looked at me, smiled, and asked, "So, Jasper, what is the most adventurous thing you've ever done?"
That is a great date question.
It is, and I had a great story. I once went skydiving, but in that moment, my brain panicked. I wanted to build the most poetic, beautiful sentence. I wanted to say, "I once plummeted from the heavens at terminal velocity."
Oh no, you were trying to play golf.
I was, so she asked the question, and I stopped chewing my pasta, and I just stared into her eyes.
For how long?
1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
The ball dropped.
5 seconds, 6 seconds. I was frozen. I was searching my brain for the word parachute. I looked like a statue.
What did she do?
She got very uncomfortable. She looked away, she nervously laughed and said, "Is it a secret, or do you just not like adventures?"
Oh, the silence made her think you were ignoring her.
Exactly. She thought I was weird or rude. Finally, after what felt like 10 minutes, my brain gave up on the poetry and I just shouted, "I jumped out of airplane!"
You shouted it?
I shouted it because the pressure was so high, and then I knocked over my water glass.
Oh, Jasper, did there happen to be a second date?
There was no second date.
And all of that could have been avoided with the 3-second rule.
Yes, if she asked me that question today, I would just smile, lean back, and say, "The most adventurous thing? Wow, that's a great question. Let me think for a second," and then calmly tell the skydiving story.
You would sound charming, thoughtful, and fluent. Instead, you sounded like a confused robot who hates water glasses.
What an incredible lesson today. I think the 3-second rule is going to save a lot of our listeners from awkward dates and stressful meetings.
It is a game changer. Stop playing golf, start playing ping pong.
Let's quickly summarize the toolbox for everyone before we go. To buy yourself time and break the awkward silence, use these within 3 seconds.
The echo, repeat their last phrase. The praise, that's a great question. The honest stall. Let me think about that for a second.
It's so simple, but it takes practice to make it a reflex.
That's why we have a challenge for you this week.
The ping pong challenge.
Yes, we want you to go to the comment section of this video. We want you to imagine that we just asked you this question. What is the most difficult part of learning English for you?
But we don't want your final answer. We only want your bridge phrase.
Exactly. Write down the exact phrase you would use to buy yourself time. Practice typing out the echo, the praise, or the honest stall.
Build that muscle memory. We will read your comments and imagine we're playing ping pong with you.
Thank you so much for joining us in our safe space today on the Core English Podcast. Your dedication to mastering this language is inspiring.
If this rule blew your mind, please hit the like button. It supports our channel and helps other English learners discover these secrets.
And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a deep dive into fluency.
Keep touching the ball, keep stalling honestly, and keep speaking.
See you next time, everyone. Bye!
See ya!